My new wife divorced me at my own retirement party while her kids cheered. So I calmly signed and whispered, "You have no idea what you just did." What happened next stunned the entire room. Hello Reddit I plus here. Alright, sit down, grab a drink, and let me tell you how the last year of my life turned from humiliating disaster to the most peaceful win I have ever experienced. I am a 62-year-old man who spent his entire adult life in logistics and fraud prevention for a major international company. Picture a guy in a gray suit who could spot a forged signature from across the room and who built contingency plans the way other people build puzzles for fun. That was me. After 36 years of grinding, I finally hit retirement. I thought I was closing a chapter gently and stepping into a quiet, warm life with my wife, a woman I married at 56, named Rhea. She was 47 when we met. Soft-spoken, charming, warm in all the ways my previous relationships had not been. She made me feel like I still had a spring in my step. She had 2 kids, twins, Toby and Sienna, teenagers when we married. They called me Mr. for the first 6 months, then Uncle, then eventually Dad. I let that dad part sink right into my bones. My own children had grown and lived far away, and for the first time in years, I felt like maybe life was giving me one last shot at building a home. I funded their school trips. I paid for their summer programs, their braces, their hobbies. I bought Toby his first laptop. I helped Sienna practice for her college interviews. I was proud to do it, which is why the betrayal did not feel like a knife. It felt like someone pulled the floorboards out from under a house I had spent 6 years building. The signs were small at first. Rhea started working out more, not just the normal midlife fitness kick. I am talking sudden late evening workouts and unexplained weekend trips to the gym that somehow took 4 hours. Her phone, which used to sit face up, now slept face down. Her smiles grew sharper. Her guilt lived just behind her eyes. I did not accuse her. 30 years in fraud prevention taught me that people reveal themselves without help. The day everything clicked was painfully insignificant. She walked in wearing a watch she had told me was too expensive, a very specific brand with a small scratch across the rim. A week later, I saw that exact scratch on Toby's social media, a photo taken inside a hotel room. The caption read, "Family getaway. Mom and Uncle Drew treating us well." Uncle Drew, a name I had heard before, a longtime family friend. More importantly, someone she used to date. I did not break. My heart numbed over. I looked at the photo, zoomed in, saw her reflection in the window behind them, and felt something inside me shift from pain to precision. I was not dealing with a mistake. I was dealing with a pattern. And patterns are my specialty. People think silence means surrender. They misunderstand entirely. Silence is strategy. I copied every document she left on the counter. I pulled bank statements, joint account histories, credit records. I saw transfers to places she claimed she had never been. I found hotel charges tagged as office expenses. I found restaurant bills for 2 people at times she had told me she was with her sister. I started gathering everything: screenshots, photos, metadata, timeline printouts. I scheduled quiet meetings with my lawyer. I checked our prenuptial agreement, which she had once laughed at and told me was just my paranoia acting up. Funny thing, my paranoia aged like wine. I legally moved my personal assets into a trust she had zero access to. I altered my estate so she was no longer the beneficiary. I froze her path to my retirement funds the moment the divorce became active. All of this fully legal. All of this within the terms of our prenup. All of this done while she thought I was getting old and clueless. Every night she slipped away to her little secret life. I sat in my study crafting the final steps. Then came the retirement party. Picture a banquet hall. My colleagues are there, old friends, people I mentored, people who respected me. That night was supposed to be my celebration. Rhea had insisted on organizing the party. I let her. I knew exactly what she thought she was doing. Near the end of the evening, she stood up, holding a stack of papers like she was presenting me with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Her smile was too polished, too practiced. She tapped her glass. Everyone fell quiet. Then, with a voice sugary enough to rot teeth, she announced, "Let's make this night unforgettable." She lifted the papers. "These are divorce papers. I think it's time we both moved on." Her kids clapped, loudly, happily, like they were cheering at a school game. My colleagues stared at her in shock. Some stared at me with pity. The room felt like it leaned sideways. I did not blink. I did not breathe for a moment. I took the papers, signed them calmly, leaned in close, and whispered, "You have no idea what you just did." She smirked, believing she was about to walk away with half my assets, my retirement funds, and my home. She had no idea that 1 hour before that party, my attorney had already filed the divorce petition. Hers meant nothing. My petition included the infidelity clause she violated. The prenup stood firm. Everything that came next was already set in motion. 3 months later, the judge dropped the hammer. We sat in the courtroom, Rhea dressed in somber colors, acting fragile. Her kids glared at me like I had betrayed them. Her lawyer talked about assets she believed she was entitled to, her lifestyle, her contributions, her sacrifices. My attorney handed the judge the documentation, the timeline, the hotel receipts, the watch in the picture, the account transfers, the faces, the metadata. It took 15 minutes. The judge closed the binder and said, "Mrs. Hawthorne, the court finds you violated the infidelity clause. Under the terms of your prenuptial agreement, you are entitled to none of the marital assets. No alimony will be awarded." Her mouth fell open. Her kids gasped. My lawyer calmly packed his briefcase. I sat still. That moment was worth every night I stayed silent. After the hearing, outside the courthouse, Rhea rushed toward me. Tears streaked her makeup. Her voice trembled. "You ruined me." I nodded slightly. "I did not ruin you. I just stopped funding the life you built on lies." Toby stepped forward like he wanted to start a fight. Security shifted. He stopped. Rhea sobbed. "We can fix this, please. We can still fix this." I stepped close, just enough for her to hear, but far enough for her children to see every word land. "Remember that night you served me those papers in front of 100 people? She swallowed. "Yes. You thought you were ending my life, but all you did was release me from yours." Then I walked away. No anger, no sadness, just the quiet satisfaction of a man finally free. That night, I sat alone in my house. My quiet, peaceful house. I poured myself a drink, leaned back in my chair, and whispered the same words again. "You had no idea what you just did." Only this time, I understood that those words were finally true for both of us. I had not only survived, I had reclaimed my life, and the peace tasted better than victory ever could. You would think that after losing the case, Rhea would vanish and lick her wounds quietly. But people who manipulate for sport rarely know how to disappear gracefully. They always believe they can twist one more thread, pull one more lever, squeeze one more drop of sympathy. She did not just try to reconnect. She tried every tactic in the book, the kind of stuff you see in stories online, and think there is no way someone would actually attempt that. Oh yes, she did. The first attempt came 3 days after the court ruling. A long email, pages long. You could scroll and still not reach the bottom. It read like a confession, mixed with a romance novel, mixed with a motivational speech. She wrote about how she had been confused, how the relationship with Drew meant nothing, how she was going through a midlife spiral, how she needed validation, how I had been the most stable man she had ever met, how she regretted everything, and wished she could undo the pain she caused. It almost sounded sincere, until I reached the line that gave away her hand. She wrote, "Maybe if we spend some time together alone, we can rebuild something. You always said forgiveness is the key to peace. You know I cannot survive without help until I get back on my feet." Ah, there it was. The real motive. She wanted the lifestyle back, not the marriage. I replied with a single sentence. "Please contact my attorney for any further communication." That was enough to make her furious. 1 week later, I started receiving messages from people I had not spoken to in years. Former friends of hers, distant cousins, her yoga partner from 2 neighborhoods away. Apparently Rhea had embarked on a tour of emotional storytelling. She told everyone I blindsided her. She told them I trapped her. She told them I used money to destroy her life. She told them I never loved her, and that she was the true victim of a cold marriage. One woman sent me a message saying, "How could you abandon a woman who gave you her best years?" Funny thing, her best years were spent at hotels with someone else. I ignored all of it. Silence works better than arguments. When people realized I was not engaging, the pity well dried up, and the sympathy tour fizzled out. The meltdown visit. 2 weeks after that, she showed up at my house unannounced. She stood at my doorstep with swollen eyes, shaking hands, and a speech clearly rehearsed. She said she still loved me. She said she made a mistake. She said she wanted to start fresh. Behind her, her kids sat in the car watching like they were waiting for the final scene of a drama they helped produce. I looked at her and felt nothing but exhaustion. I told her calmly, "You need to leave. You are not welcome here." Her face twisted. She whispered loudly enough for her kids to hear, "After everything I gave you, you are really doing this?" I raised an eyebrow. "You took far more than you gave. Now please leave before I call security." Toby shouted something from the car, something about how I had betrayed them. I simply closed the door. I did not hear from them for almost a month. Then came the real unraveling. The apartment she moved into was too expensive. The car she drove was under my insurance plan before the divorce. Her part-time job barely covered groceries. Drew had vanished the moment the court ruling came out. Her kids were blaming her for losing the house. Bills caught up to her with the speed of a hurricane. She sent me another message. This time, no romance, no apologies, just desperation. I know you do not care about me, but please help me for the kids. They cannot keep living like this. Just for a little while. You know they loved you. Please do not punish them. The kids who cheered when she served me divorce papers. The kids who laughed at the humiliation she planned. The kids who looked at me like an enemy in court. Those kids. I forwarded the message to my lawyer. He sent a clean reply on my behalf. My client has no legal or financial responsibility toward your children. All further contact must remain through legal counsel. After that, she tried calling from unknown numbers. My attorney advised me to block everything that was not essential. I did. The venting saga. Once she realized she would get nothing from me, she did what people like her often do in the final stage. She vented. Loudly, publicly, dramatically. She wrote long posts online about being abandoned at her lowest point. She claimed she was emotionally abused. She claimed I manipulated the court. She claimed I never cared for her kids. But people are not always as gullible as she hoped. Someone commented on one of her posts. Funny how you were calling him dad when he bought you a laptop. Funny how you cheered when your mom served him papers. Funny how the truth only hurts when the money is gone. That comment stayed up for hours and gathered dozens of likes. Her account went private shortly after, the final attempt. Her last message arrived 2 months later, a short letter placed in my mailbox, neatly written in her handwriting. No accusations, no manipulation, no romance, just this. I miss the life we had. I know I cannot fix it. I hope one day you will forgive me for everything. I regret it all. I regret losing you. I regret the choices that brought me here. I am sorry. I read it once and folded it away. She finally understood the consequences. Forgiveness is possible. Reconnection is not. Now my life is quiet, peaceful, predictable in a good way. No more hidden phones. No more late-night lies. No more walking on emotional eggshells. No more pretending that love was enough to fix someone who did not want to be fixed. I survived the betrayal. I survived the humiliation. I survived the manipulation. And not only did I survive, I won the one thing money cannot buy, a life free of chaos. Sometimes I sit in my quiet living room, sip my evening drink, and say the words that have defined this chapter. She had no idea what she did, and I had no idea how much peace waited on the other side.